What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Inhumans Season 1, Episode 5, Something Inhuman This Way Comes, and Episode 6, The Gentleman's Name is Gorgon. So, two more episodes, and both pretty enjoyable. I'm definitely finding myself enjoying this as it moves along. I hate that there's only 8 episodes in the season, because I feel like if they had more, possibly by the end of the season, it could be a very good show, but I feel like it's going to end just as it's starting to actually get good. But, I mean, it's definitely picked up from where it began, because where it began was kind of cheesy, kind of silly, not really all that fun. Now it is fun, and it's really enjoyable to watch. So, we're just going to kind of pick it apart by the different characters in the story, starting with probably the only part of this show right now that I am not enjoying. It's got to be Crystal's story. I mean, I already talked about the acting as far as Crystal is concerned, but just this whole story. I mean, come on. Really? This feels like I'm watching a bad superhero TV show. It feels like I'm watching Supergirl. I know I said that in the last review. I'm saying it again. It feels like I'm watching Supergirl. She happens upon this random hot guy. All of a sudden, they just start talking about, where she's from. It's just like, oh, that's really cool. Man, aren't I just so cool? I'm just like, dude, shut up. You're everything that's wrong with this generation. Just the way he's talking, the happy-go-lucky, carefree, woo, yeah, hang loose. I don't know. It's just, he's way too confident, and she is falling for him way too easily. I mean, it would make a lot more sense if she actually just completely turned away from him and just like, no, I'm a princess. I don't talk to you, measly human. That would actually not only make more sense, but you could probably do some funny stuff with that. He's all cocky and confident and all like, yeah, so why don't you do a handstand? Hey, come run into the ocean with me. And she's just sitting there like, no, I don't talk with you measly humans. I'm not friends with you. Thank you for helping my dog, but no, I'm not going to talk with you and become friends and, chat and run to the ocean and do all this crazy stuff. But no, she's treating all like, oh, he's so cute and so adorable and he's hunky and, oh, he's just so carefree and, oh, he's dreamy. And I'm just like, this is not real life. I don't know where this is, any TV show, any movie that does this. I don't know where you people meet all these people that are in the movies. This is not how it happens. You don't just run into some random stranger, this guy chatting up this girl all cocky like, and then just she's instantly in love with him. Like, to the point where whenever they have to leave, she's actually kind of heartbroken about it. I'm like, no, I don't believe it. First of all, with Karnak, they're older. And on top of that, it felt like a much more like kind of a physical desire than it is like an actual romantic thing. This is just like they're two kids, and it's not like, oh, two kids, that just they like each other. No, it feels like they're actually building up a romance between these two. It feels like something out of a what's his name? James Sparks? Something Spark? I don't remember his name now, but those cheesy romantic novels, that's what it feels like whenever I watch it. It's the one thing that stands out in this show as just not entertaining because Nicholas Sparks. That's his name. It feels like something out of one of his novels. The way they're setting this all up, the cheesy romantic music, the cheesy romantic scene on the beach, the cheesy romantic scene when they're, going up to the top of the cliff. It just all feels so unrealistic, and compared to the rest of the show, it just doesn't fit. Karnak feels like something Marvel would do. He meets this random woman. They all of a sudden head out to the beach, and he's a very thoughtful person, and now he's lost his thoughts. And hey, why not have some fun? And that's what happens. They have some fun. And then through a difficult set of circumstances, they have to survive together. And now they've actually developed some chemistry instead of Crystal and this guy who's just like, oh yeah, we spend one scene on the beach together and now we're in love. Stupid. So yeah, that is the one problem I have with these two episodes. Aside from that, though, we do have some very interesting things going on with the rest of our characters. First of all, I'll talk about Karnak's story. When he wakes up, Another really cool scene with him using his powers, because the guy who's in charge of the little expedition to grow all these illegal drugs, he is waiting for Karnak and Jin to get out of their tent. And so whenever he does, instead of just like shooting at their tent, for some reason he actually waits for them to get out of their tent, because, that would be much easier to kill them whenever they're right in front of you than to just bang, bang, bang so they don't have a chance to react. But whatever. It does give Karnak, though, the chance to react to it. He sees the bullet coming. He manages to react and chop the bullet in half. And I'm like, that was freaking awesome. Just the way they handled that scene. I'm so disappointed we haven't gotten to see more use of his power since the second episode, whenever he realized, his mind was messed up. But that scene right there was just freaking awesome. And what makes it even better is the fact that, I was like, oh, so what? He just randomly gets his power back? Well, not really. He had the ability to see the bullet and chop it in half, but what he didn't think about is one of the halves goes and hits Jen in the stomach. And that's awesome. Not only are you showing the great abilities that he has, but you're not showing that he has all of his abilities back, because he did make a mistake. And that haunts him for the rest of this first episode. The thought that I made a mistake, and that doubt starts to creep in, and Jen has to tell him, look, doubt is fine. We all doubt ourselves. And I love the sort of the comparison between him and Gorgon, because Gorgon is very just, I'm going to go rush in, I'm going to go in guns a-blazing, take out everybody I can. And so to see the contrast between these two is a lot of fun. But yeah, so now he has to sort of rely on instinct and less planning, more just trying to react to a situation. And it's definitely out of his comfort zone. And it is very shown by the fact that they fail in their plan. He shows up, fights off a few guys, but then this big guy knocks him out, captures him, and then Gorgon steps in, rescues him, saves the day, and then they run into Black Bolt and Medusa. So this is where everything sort of intersects, because Gorgon, up to this point, was still trying to track him down, finally manages to track him down and takes them all out. They start running off into the woods, and all of a sudden hear gunfire going on behind him. Black Bolt, Medusa, Luis, Locust, all of them come out, and it's just like, oh, you guys are here. And so they hug, reunion, only to find out that apparently Locust was hit by one of the bullets and dies. But what's very interesting about this is there was a scene earlier where Black Bolt and Medusa get Locust out of the trunk of the car that they had her in, and are pretty much talking about what it's like on Adelan. What it's like there to be under the caste system, how frustrating that is. And once again, showing that even though these people are the protagonists, they're still not right. There is something wrong with how they're running Adelan. And it's very well done here. Locust talks about the problem she has with it, the fact that she's just a finder, but she didn't necessarily want to be a finder. She wanted to be a healer. And I think she probably could have. With her powers, yes, obviously she can find things that are very far away with her powers. But if you think about it, she wanted to be a healer. Wouldn't her powers be useful if maybe there's some sort of unknown thing inside? It's almost like she can do an X-ray with her powers. So, yeah, you can kind of see where the caste system has failed her. And it makes sense why she's frustrated. So I really like how they're handling that. And they're doing a very good job of showing both sides of it as well. But anyway, after Locust dies, she has kind of a final, be the king we deserve to have, speech with Black Bolt that I think will probably get through to him a little bit. But then she also reveals that Crystal's still on the island. So Black Bolt and Medusa go to look for Crystal while Auron is called back. Apparently, she has the ability to come back to life and sort of regenerate her cells again. As we see after the explosion from the last episode, she wakes up and then does her little... She didn't do the Final Fantasy X thing this time for some reason. I wanted her to do it again. I wanted to see it again because it really, really reminded me of Final Fantasy X, their little prayer thing whenever they're praying to Yevon. I wanted to see that again. But anyway. So yeah, she regenerates her cells, comes back to life. And so she contacts them and tells Black Bolt that she has Sammy and Dr. Declan, who his name does not start with a J. I don't know where I got J in the last review, but yeah. She has both of them, and if Black Bolt and Medusa don't come sacrifice themselves, then she'll kill both of them. So Karnak and Gorgon are both sent to take care of them. And so that's pretty much where we separate. Black Bolt and Medusa have a little bit of a talk about, I guess, her frustration with him because he is very like gung-ho about we need to kill Maximus when this is all said and done. Because he is rightly pissed. Maximus has overthrown him. He's taken over his kingdom. He just cut his wife's hair, which is the main source of her power, which is detrimental to her. Yeah, I kind of understand his point of view, but at the same time, Medusa sees that this is pretty much what Maximus almost kind of wants, is for him to freak out, come back, and then just kill Maximus. So now nobody trusts him anymore. So yeah, Medusa is speaking some sense into him, but unfortunately he is very, very blinded by his rage right now. So it'll probably take a little bit more prodding before he's fully ready to accept what she's saying, but I think eventually he'll come around because, it's Marvel. The good guys have to win in the end, and one of the ways the good guys are going to have to win this time is they have to realize that their old way of doing things isn't exactly the best way of doing things. So, but eventually they do see Crystal doing lightning in the sky and realize that must be her doing all that stuff. So they go to find her up there with Dave, the guy that she just randomly decided she was in love with. So then they take her back to the barn where Lockjaw's waiting. Dave's ex-girlfriend shows up. The only purpose she has is to cause trouble because what else are exes good for, right? It's another part of the story that I'm just like, why is she even here? Like, she brings the police to see the alien dog and the girl that can control things because earlier in the episode, Crystal, blew up her phone. I'm just like, first of all, I get that, clearly he brought you in to deal with the dog because you're a vet, but at the same time, why do you even care anymore? It's obvious to me that she's jealous because Dave is now talking with this new girl who's beautiful, and it's just like, oh, well, I can't believe he's talking to her. But why are you jealous? Ex-girlfriend, you're done, and yet she's all like, oh, well, he's got this new girl and she blew up my phone, so now I'm going to be all petty. I'm going to call the cops on her and this dog, and they're going to see. And I'm just like, that's the only reason you're here, isn't it? It's just so she can call the cops, break up this little reunion, and on top of that, Luis now doesn't get to go with Black Bolt and Medusa like she wanted to, which she probably wasn't going to go anyway, but whatever. Now there's actually a reason for it that she can accept. I don't know, it's just all kind of weird. But anyway, we go to Gorgon and Karnak's side of the story, and they're heading to this research facility that Dr. Declan's in charge of, and realize that Orin has these new human fighters coming to help. I say human, technically they are inhuman, but they're the Inhumans that are fit or declared not fit to live a life of luxury. They're the miners of Adelan. So I've come to realize that apparently Maximus is the only one that went through Terrigenesis and became human. All of the rest of Adelan are Inhumans, just some of them, their powers aren't great enough to be considered worthy of living in the city. The ones that are not fancy enough or not something. I don't really know exactly how they rate the powers that they're given. But for instance, Bernasia, because he only has the ability to see the future, they realize that's a power, but they say, that's not good enough, so go work in the mines. So I thought, maybe it was like they have humans working in the mines and the Inhumans are ruling, but it turns out everybody's inhuman, just some of them are not considered high enough compared to the others. So even kind of worse when you consider the fact that they're treating their own people like that. It's not just slavery of humans, no, it's actually slavery of your own Inhumans that you think are not worthy. That's kind of messed up and sick. But we see some of the people that were working in the mines, one of them being Bernasia's father, is there to help out Orin and her team, which now only consists of Orin, Flora, and Mortis. That's it. So one of the other great things about this is we've got Gorgon and Karnak working together again, and Gorgon's actually using his head, which works for this scene because Karnak right now can't use his head. And so Gorgon suggests, well, Oren doesn't know that you can't use your head, so why not treat it like you're Karnak, the greatest fighter that ever lived? She's not aware of the fact that you're only half strength right now. I'm like, that's genius. And so sure enough, leads to a brilliant scene where she's like looking out the window, pointing a gun at him, and somebody is sitting next to her like, shoot him. Why don't you shoot him? She's like, no, you don't understand. This is Karnak. He wants me to shoot him right now. Yeah, so he's just walking right towards her saying, don't shoot me, don't shoot me, don't shoot me. And she's freaking out like, this is all part of his trap. The others must be out there somewhere. I can't shoot him right now. And so she's freaking out even though he has no clue what he's doing right now. He's just walking right towards her. It was a brilliant scene. But ultimately, Gorgon and Karnak go through. Gorgon is taking out some of the other people. Mortis is keeping watch over Sammy with Flora. And so Karnak goes up there, leads Flora into a trap, then knocks her out. Mortis goes around the corner to take him out, not there. So he's looking around. Karnak is telling him this story about when he went through Terrigenesis, how Karnak told the Genetic Council, the Genetic Council wanted to put him down, and Karnak was like, no, don't do it. And so he's like getting into his head, messing with him. And then Mortis is like, where are you? And then Gorgon just like, over here. And then Karnak gets up and chokes him out. And I'm just like, that scene was awesome. Just the way that they set it up, the cleverness of it, how they handled it, it was brilliant. But I am going to kind of miss Mortis a little bit, but we'll get to that in a second. But so this leads to, Gorgon goes to fight Oren, and Karnak goes to take out the rest of the workers. Not take out, kill, but, knock them out. So Gorgon, Oren have their little fight. He finally knocks her to the ground, says, maybe it's time for you to surrender. She says never. He goes to step on her to crush her. She looks at her hand, which still hasn't healed, realizes the doctor just said, maybe your healing days are coming to an end, and realizes, okay, I'll surrender because I might not make it back this time. So kind of an interesting little twist thrown in there that she may not be able to heal anymore and come back to life. Maybe there's a limit on that. So I'll be curious to see how much more she's able to heal. But that pretty much wraps up all of that. So they're all trying to, get them back together so they can take them back to Adelan and, bring the prisoners back and take on Maximus. But Mortis has other plans because he decides, nope, not going back there. I'm done being locked up as a prisoner. So he's about to take off his mask and blow up the place. But Gorgon says, no, run, I've got this, and holds him down until eventually he steps on the ground and pretty much takes down the building with him and Mortis in tow. So, yeah, this leads to the death of Gorgon, which I probably should have seen coming because the title was This Gentleman's Name is Gorgon, I believe. Yeah. So, it was a little bit obvious with that title. Why would you put his name in the title of, he's just kind of he's one of the main characters, but not one of the most important main characters, like Black Bolt and Medusa. So, a little obvious, but here's the thing. It was a pretty emotional scene, because they've done a very good job of building up these characters. I really do like Karnak and Gorgon, but they overused the music in this series way too much. I mean, it feels like every episode, there's at least 3 times in every episode where we're breaking into a scene and all of a sudden it's this woman singing at this very light and delicate tone. Ignore that. I don't know what that was. And it's just all like soft and emotional, and she's singing and the guitar's playing, and it's just like, I see this all the time. Like, it feels like they just overuse this, and so the emotional music starts playing, Black Bolt's walking into the building, and Karnak's there with Gorgon's body as they take it out. I'm like, this would be so much more emotional if it was just soft music playing in the background, but mostly just silence. As they realize they've just lost a comrade. They've lost a family member. They've lost somebody close to them. How much more effective would it be if it were just silence with some soft music in the background? Not this woman singing, just not loud, but singing. Singing at a normal tone, music playing at a normal tone. They're not talking. You can't hear anything they're saying. But all you hear is just the music and the woman singing. It feels so contrived, and it feels like they're trying to build emotion out of you instead of just letting the emotion of the scene play out for itself. So it still works in a way because I still did feel emotion, but it feels more like fabricated emotion than it does just true emotion. So it is a problem that I have, and I hope this isn't going to be a thing in the next few episodes. I hope that they do manage to build some real emotion instead of this fabricated one. But I guess we'll have to see. But anyway, that's about it as far as all this is concerned. Like I said, I think Mortis is gone now. I am disappointed because, like I said in the last review, he is really funny. I think there was, yes, one of the scenes was Sammy. He and Flora have Sammy like wrapped up in vines and leading him through the woods. And all of a sudden he like puts his hands on the vines, melts the vines, and starts running away. And because he's like this big dude, his run is just all like, boom, boom, boom. Like, not really running. He's more like just waddling. And Mortis just turns around and he's like, really? We'll stop him. Like, this dude's hysterical. So I am a little bit disappointed that he might not be around anymore because Black Bolt sees his mask whenever they go in to get Gorgon. So I do feel like he's probably gone, but I guess we'll find out later. But that's about it as far as everything going on Earth. When we go to Adelan, this is where things definitely get very interesting as well, because we see Maximus, like I said before, he does have a very good point about the caste system being wrong. Some of the things he said to Crystal about her parents wanting to upheave the caste system and being banished because of it, some of it does make a lot of sense. But here's the thing, and this is something that Tybor, he's Maximus's old friend who wants to help him, but not really. He does bring this up very well. A lot of the Inhumans are asking, is this for them, for the good of Adelan, or is it for the good of Maximus? And this is where it kind of starts to show Maximus's reactions show that he is in it for himself. As much as he probably does believe the fact that the caste system needs to be removed and things do need to change, I also believe that he is entirely in it because he wants to be king, because he selfishly wants to lead, and he was told he couldn't. So they're doing a very good job of, like I said before, showing both sides of the old way and the new way, how some things work, how some things don't work. But now they're also showing how Maximus, who is sort of trying to push in this new way, also has his own personal motives as well that make him not fit to rule. So even if he is kind of right about the caste system being wrong, he's still not the right option because he's got a lot of problems. And Orin sees it, Tybor sees it, a lot of people see it. In fact, some of the Inhumans come to Tybor and say, he's not the one we need. So I don't think they're necessarily Black Bolt sympathizers. I think they think Maximus isn't the right option for us. So I really do like how they've handled most of this. A couple little interesting tidbits thrown in here and there. First of all, one of the first scenes that we see with Maximus in the 5th episode, he's having a dream where all of them, no, it was the beginning of the 6th episode, I think. But he's having a dream where all of them come back to Adelan, Black Bolt, Medusa, Karnak, Gorgon, Crystal, Lockjaw, brings them all back. And they're in the throne room, and so they're all, like, walking around him, like, taunting him. Karnak's like, we're about to kill you because you tried to kill us and all that stuff. And so they're just all, like, talking to him. At one point, Medusa says, he's talking about Black Bolt, he knows that you're the one who actually killed your parents. I'm wondering if this was a subconscious thing and he actually did kill his parents, or if maybe he blames himself for it somehow, even though, because we saw that one scene where Black Bolt released his voice and we saw his parents like disintegrate because of it. But is that really what happened? Is there maybe some sort of trick that was involved in that we don't know about, or maybe Black Bolt is remembering things wrong? I don't know. I'm very, very curious to see what that scene with Medusa telling him you're the one that killed your parents means. Did he actually do that? So a little bit of a mystery thrown in there. But aside from that, we've also got Maximus talking a lot more with Bernasia. He asks Bernasia whether or not he can trust Tybor, because we see Tybor talking to the people who want to overthrow Maximus, and pretty much telling them, yeah, we've got to get close to him, and then he tells Maximus, look, there are some people that are trying to overthrow you. Not really sure if that was part of the plan or if he was just trying to show his loyalty. But whatever the case, Maximus goes to Bernasia and asks him, can I trust him? Touches him so Bernasia can get the vision, and then asks him, do you see anything with Tybor? And he said, I see you and Tybor talking, but doesn't really say anything else. He's very vague about it, and so Maximus is trying to get the information but can't. And so this leads to the final scene where the people come walking in that want to overthrow Maximus, but Maximus is all prepared. He's got everybody with guns ready to point at them, and then kills Tybor for his disloyalty, and has all the traitors taken away and put into prison. And so then has a little talk with Bernasia about, did you see a knife in Tybor's hand? And he's like, I don't know. I'm so scared. I'm sorry I lied to you. I didn't know what to say. So we're seeing that Maximus is clearly losing his mind. But on top of that, we're also seeing that people are fearing him instead of really respecting him as a leader. So I don't think that's what he wants. I think at some point he's going to realize that he's becoming more of a dictator than he is a true king. So I don't know if that's going to affect him in any way, if he's just going to keep on this little power trip of his. I don't know what to expect, but it is very interesting how they're handling all of this, and they're doing a very good job of setting it all up. So I'm really enjoying it. I don't know why the ratings are so low. I understand for the first couple episodes it was pretty bad. They had some awkward moments, some not so great moments, but now it feels like it's really kicking off and doing a pretty good job of it. There still are some problems for sure, but there is a lot of stuff to enjoy as well. A lot of fun moments, a lot of very good character moments. I'm enjoying it. Hopefully you guys are too. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on this episode? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all the good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Inhumans reviews. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.